Hello, and welcome to another round of Unmatched After Action Reports. I'm Sojan, and today I have a bust up between Alice and Jekyll and Hyde in the Dusty Yukon. So I think Alice is one of the more fun characters to play, but I readily admit I don't play her very well. She rewards a more intelligent and fluid playstyle thanks to a constant form switching between big and small. I like to think that she's a hero who has a higher skill ceiling, meaning that in the hands of a good player, she can go much further than most other characters in the current Unmatched roster. As an aside, Sherlock tops that skill ceiling ranking if you ask me. However, this AR is going to be a good example of how not to play Alice, and you shall soon see why. For me, Alice's default form should be big. Being small should be kept to a minimal amount of time. And compounding this aggressive approach, I take a lot of questionable decisions and unnecessary risks, and repeatedly get punished for it. I make a lot of small positional mistakes too, which I'll be sure to highlight in the video. So starting off, you can see I have a pretty aggressive hand. It would have been okay if one of these versatile cards was Through the Looking Glass as a good defense, get out of jail card, but well, we can't have everything. And it's also interesting to note that Jekyll and Hyde took a double maneuver and placed himself exactly 2 spaces in front of me. Almost as if he's baiting either of my heroes, either of my fighters to go and attack. So what this means is that Jekyll and Hyde probably had a good counter attack plan, and Jekyll and Hyde also had a feint to prevent me from moving away after I went in to attack. So the smart play, of course, in this case, especially since I'm the second player, would be to simply move away. So to position myself such that I can't be hit by a pure evil, so maybe somewhere here, so he can't pure evil here or here, and yep, and I'll be able to avoid any of those big attacks. But nope, I maneuvered and went in with Alice. So that was actually my second mistake. I could have actually just went in with the Jabberwock if I really wanted to be aggressive and just simply just attack with this. Yeah. But instead, I just went in with Alice, and here was my third mistake. So already expecting a feint, but somehow praying on the off chance that it wasn't, I greedily played Snicker Snack, thinking that if I somehow won the combat, I would be able to knock something important out of his hand. So the correct play would probably have been to play Ophrap just day for 4 points of damage. 4 plus 2, so that would give me 6 points, 6 damage. Skirmish should probably be kept as a defense. And as expected, it was fainted away. So Jekyll and Hyde takes his turn. Immediately Strange Cases me for a point of damage on Skirmish. So Jekyll and Hyde, I kind of lucked out here in the sense that Jekyll and Hyde's deck, it consists of mostly 2s and 3 boost cards. So me only being hit for 1 point of damage was just pure good luck. Second action, he attacked me and I immediately fainted it, expecting something huge like Forever Hide or perhaps even a Duality of Man. But alas, it was a Recalling Blow, so I take 3 points of damage. And I'm already at a pretty precarious state of health just a couple of turns into the game. So it's my turn. I still have a very poor... I'm still at a card disadvantage, 5 to 4. And I just decide to up the aggression. So I hit him with a Skirmish for 6. And he defended correctly with a 4. So, and here again, I make another mistake in the sense that I actually won this skirmish better. So I could have just taken a chance to move 2 spaces away and just maneuver away for in a bit to try to gain better defenses. But nope, chose to stay there and greedily attacked again with both Raptures Day. So he was forced to use the skirmish he drew earlier as a defense. So he just takes another 2 points of damage. So it might seem like our health is even and we're pretty okay, but gotta remember that he has much more burst damage in the sense of whatever height, and he still has some pretty good healing cards. But I have to wait for 2 of my Looking Glass cards if I ever want to heal up. So Chicken Heights turn again. Punishes me again with another Strange Case, this time for 2 points of damage of a feint. So he drew a feint and I know he has a feint in hand. Then he attacks me with a skirmish. This time I take 2 points of damage. And I'm already at a very dangerous spot for my health. So I really can't be aggressive at this point in time. No cards and low health. So next couple of turns were just us trying to maneuver and me trying to hem him in, build our hands up again. So lots of maneuvering. So again, you can see Jack and Hyde baiting me to enter. But I really couldn't afford to. One thing I could have done was to move in with the and use the and Zomi Foe. So this card should be used as an offense, I think. Because it can potentially go up to 7 points or even 8 points of attack. But one thing to play a bit more cautiously and trying to avoid pure evils. Couldn't afford to take in more direct damage. I simply double maneuvered. And finally threatened the Jabberwock. So one thing to note is that you don't ever want to leave space for Hyde to pure evil multiple characters. So you want to control where he pure evils. So he could still pure evil here though. And that would have been actually very bad for me. So Jack and Hyde want to consider, probably thinking whether he would like to pure evil me. But he chooses the safer and definitely smarter option of a double maneuver. And just letting me come in. So again, I take a very questionable approach of aggression. I use Eat Me as a boost to bring the Jabberwock right up to Jack and Hyde. So with Jaws that bite, even if he feints this, which I know he had in hand, and it's probably the last feint. Oh, not yet actually, his second feint. Takes 2 points of damage. But that leaves the Jabberwock in a dangerous spot as I don't really have many good defenses for it. So I come to another critical moment in the game where I could decide to take undefended attacks or to defend with this. So the danger of getting undefended attacks, I mean, it's fine if the Jabberwock dies. Takes a lot of damage here because, I mean, he still has 8 points of health. But I didn't want Jacker to get the heal off. So he hits me first, and then Zomi whole draws a regroup to perfectly deflect this. Quite honestly, I think I should have just taken that first attack. And only when he was in Jacker form should I defend. So Mensomi Fo wins this attack so he doesn't get to heal 2 health. But I think the better play would have been to just eat the first attack. If you wanted to use a Forever Hide and finish him off here, I'll be fine with that. Put him at very little health, very little cards. So it's my turn. I finally drew a Looking Glass. Smart play, of course, would be to go up and let the Jabberwock continue the assault. But nope, I decided to move in. Still not drawing any good Jabberwock cards. I move in. So Dragon Hide double maneuvers, places himself in a space where I have to maneuver to attack him first. Alright, so next turn I move in to attack. Do note that I'm still in big form, but I was in a very dangerous amount of health left. So the idea was that I would use the other side of the mushroom to hit him and move away. Dragon Hide takes a while to sting because I think this was one of the deciding moments in the game too. Because I have got him stuck. And he uses his last feint. Still, 3 points of damage is pretty good. Just have to somehow survive this assault while being big. So if he had a Forever Hide in hand, and if he hit me, he could potentially just finish me off. Alright, and Pure Evils to get out of the jam. And here it attacks me. So he did a Recalling Blow. And I just played the best card I had in hand, Looking Glass. Obviously, was to recover the 3 health that I would take from getting hit by the Recalling Blow. And one of the decisions that I had to make at this point in time was to decide on whether I would draw 2 cards or warp myself to continue this pin. Smarter play, of course, would have been to draw 2 cards and run away. As you can see, I took the more aggressive option. Even with only 3 cards in hand, I was hoping my regroup would help me draw cards. So his Recalling Blow allowed him to move also. So he just moved further in since I've effectively locked out his space. His way to escape. And here, I simply took a maneuver. Luckily drawing a Momentous Shift. And without any feints. And without a Duality of Man, I end the game. So as you can see here, my aggressive approach brought me to very low health, but I didn't have to. So ideally, the Jabberwock should have been doing most of the work at first, weakening him a lot while I go in and swoop in for big points of damage only when I had to. But I just kept going in big, and I was simply just through pure luck that his Strange Cases didn't hit me for more, and he didn't have Forever Hide to finish me off when he could. Right. Hope you learned something from my play of Alice, and see you in the next Unmatched After Action Reports.